In other news, after months of non-confrontation, police started enforcing a camping ban at occupied D.C. locations last week. There have been clashes since then, and there may be more on the way. Joining us now is Aubrey Whelan with the Washington Examiner, who's been following the Occupy D.C. protests for the paper, spending a lot of time down there. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you here. First, let's talk about the confrontation that happened, I guess, over the weekend. You were there at 3 in the morning when the police came in. Tell us a little bit about what was going on and what that was like.
Sure. Well, I showed up at about 3 in the morning, and the police came in around 5:40. And it was a little scary, honestly, coming out of the darkness like these rows of mounted police. And for the most part, it was pretty low-key. For a long time, they just sort of set up barricades and, began moving tents out. The protesters weren't very happy about it, but it wasn't very confrontational. And then around 5 o'clock, as protesters were getting moved out of the park entirely, there was this kind of big scrum on K Street. It was, people running, the police moving in with riot shields. Things were getting thrown.
Were you scared by all this?
It's kind of what happens when you cover Occupy D.C. Sometimes it gets a little bit crazy.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the status of the movement now. Now that we've had this kind of clean out that's gone on and some new rules being enforced, what do you think the status? How do the occupiers feel at this point?
I think they're a little shell-shocked, honestly, right now. It's been a little quiet at the camp this week just because everyone's trying to figure out what to do. They've been having discussions about where the movement's going forward. And, frankly, a lot of Occupy movements that have been evicted say that, the eviction was a good thing that happened to them. It allowed them to focus on, really protesting issues and kind of getting out in the streets as opposed to defending a camp. So they're talking about, protesting foreclosures, starting, General Assembly meetings in communities for people to talk about what they, about their concerns in the community, that sort of thing.
Speaking of that, we've got the big CPAC meeting tomorrow. That's a Conservative Political Action Conference that's going to be going on. And there has been some talk that they may try to disrupt that meeting. Have you heard much about that?
Yes, as I reported in the Examiner today, there's definitely plans to not necessarily disrupt, but definitely to try to divert attention. They're partnering with a lot of labor unions who have been planning to be there. I'm not entirely sure on the details because Occupy doesn't generally talk about what they plan to do, but they will be there and they will be loud. They will have a presence.
Once they started enforcing the no camping thing, where people, they can't sleep there anymore. They are there sometimes during the day. Where are they going now at night?
A lot of them are staying with friends, people who live in the city and who have been coming to Occupy or kind of opening their houses to people who don't have anywhere else to go. Churches have taken a lot of people in. I know that Luther Place up on Thomas Circle is kind of holding a lot of occupiers' stuff, like from their tents. Some people are just, sleeping on the streets. Some people...
So at this point, what you believe is that it's kind of a refocusing now on and planning what's going to come next for them?
Yes, definitely. It's a transition period for them. It's going to be a little hard to kind of figure out what to do next, but they've been talking about it. They've got a plan. They know this is going to be a long-term movement. So.
All right. Well, we'll certainly see what happens tomorrow with the CPAC meetings going on. Aubrey Whelan is a writer for the Washington Examiner and has more about all of this in today's edition of the paper. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. Yep.
The Fox 5 weather app. Look 10 days ahead or hour by hour. View today's video forecast and radar that can pinpoint your neighborhood free at your app store or Android market.